A 4-year-old child lost his life, and the person at the center of this dark mystery was none other than his own mother. What she did next defied all logic. She placed her child's lifeless body inside a suitcase, carefully covered it with clothes, and arranged for a taxi. This incident happened in Goa, India. Her plan: to travel from Goa to Bangalore as if nothing had happened. But what unfolded along that journey turned a quiet disappearance into a national headline. Stay with us, because what comes next will shock you. The woman involved was not a stranger to success. Her name was Suchana Seth, and she was widely respected in the tech industry. Based in Bangalore, she was the founder and CEO of a company called Mindful AI. With over 8 years of experience in artificial intelligence, she had built a reputation for intelligence, innovation, and leadership. Beyond the world of tech, she was also an artist. Her Instagram feed filled with expressive sketches and carefully crafted visuals. She held an MSc in physics from Kolkata and had completed a postgraduate diploma as well. She was, by every measure, brilliant and driven, which raises the most haunting question of all. How could someone with so much promise, so much intellect, do something so unfathomable? The timeline begins on January 6th. Suchana and her son left Bangalore and arrived in Goa for what seemed like a peaceful trip. They checked into a hotel and stayed there for 2 days without incident. Everything appeared normal until January 8th. That morning, Suchana informed the hotel staff she had to return to Bangalore immediately due to a business emergency. The staff offered to book a taxi to the airport, but she declined. Instead, she insisted on traveling the entire distance by road, a decision that struck them as odd. After all, why refuse a quick flight for an urgent matter? Nevertheless, the hotel complied. A taxi was arranged. Hours later, the receptionist called to inform her that the cab was ready. Suchana checked out with 2 bags in hand, calm and composed. As she approached the lobby, a staff member casually asked, "Where's your child?" Her response was coldly indifferent, as if she had arrived alone. The receptionist, momentarily confused, assumed the child must have been with a relative or perhaps already sent home. Without further question, they let her go. She stepped into the cab with both bags, and the journey to Bangalore began. What the driver didn't know, and what the hotel staff couldn't have guessed, was that a horrifying secret lay inside one of those suitcases. The truth would be uncovered soon, and when it was, it would send a wave of disbelief across the nation. What really happened between those hotel rooms? As the cab driver lifted the 2 suitcases into the trunk, he noticed something unsettling. One of the bags felt unusually heavy, far heavier than any standard luggage filled with clothes. Curious and slightly alarmed, he politely asked Suchana, "Ma'am, these bags are a bit heavier than expected. You're not carrying alcohol or anything restricted, are you?" Considering the long road journey from Goa to Bangalore, his concern was reasonable, but Suchana remained calm, denying any such contents. "It's just my clothes," she said with a composed smile. The driver didn't press further. He closed the trunk, started the engine, and the journey began. Not long after they hit the road, the driver received a phone call from police. They began asking specific questions. How many passengers were in the car? "Only one," he answered truthfully. Then came a follow-up. "Is there a child with the passenger?" Confused, the driver again said no. He hadn't seen any child, just one woman with 2 heavy bags. The questions became more persistent. The driver, now uneasy, handed the phone to Suchana. The police directly asked her, "Where is your child? You checked into the hotel with a child, didn't you?" With startling detachment, Suchana replied that she had forgotten to inform the staff and claimed her son was staying with relatives nearby. But back at the hotel, a different story was unfolding. Housekeeping staff had entered her vacated room to clean and found something disturbing. Bloodstains scattered in several places, At first, they assumed it might be a minor injury, but as they cleaned further and found more stains, suspicion mounted. The biggest red flag. No one had seen the child during checkout. CCTV footage confirmed it. Suchana had entered the hotel with her son, but had left alone. Where was the boy? The staff quickly alerted police, who began piecing the situation together. They cross-checked Suchana's claims about relatives and realized something chilling. There were no family members of hers in Goa. Her story was unraveling fast. Meanwhile, the police called the driver again. This time, speaking in a local dialect to avoid raising her suspicions, they instructed him to divert the cab to the nearest police station. "Don't worry," they reassured him. "Just follow our instructions. You're not in trouble. We're handling everything." The driver, brave and level-headed, decided to act. Spotting a security guard near a roadside building, he pulled over under the pretense of needing a restroom break and asked about a nearby police station. The guard pointed just 5 meters ahead. It was a large station, hard to miss. The driver returned to the cab, drove ahead, and stopped right outside the station. "Why did we stop here?" Suchana asked, her tone surprisingly calm. Too calm. Anyone else might have panicked, but not her. The driver, playing it smart, said, "There was a call from the police station. Some verification work. I'll be right back." He walked into the station and informed the officers, who were already briefed. Soon they brought Suchana inside for questioning. The moment of truth had arrived. They asked her to open the bags. She did so without hesitation, calmly removing the top layer of clothes. "See? Just clothes," she said. But the police weren't convinced. They searched more thoroughly, lifting garments, digging deeper, and then came the discovery no one was prepared for. Beneath the folded clothes lay the body of her 4-year-old son. Even the seasoned officers were shaken. The cab driver nearly fainted from shock. But Suchana, she showed no visible reaction, no panic, no remorse, just cold silence. She was immediately arrested. News of the incident spread like wildfire, leaving the country stunned. How could a mother, an accomplished woman, do something so devastating? As the investigation progressed, details of her personal life began to surface. Suchana had been in a bitter custody battle with her ex-husband following a difficult divorce. The court had granted her primary custody of the child, with the condition that the father could meet his son once a week. But Suchana allegedly resisted this arrangement. Reports suggest that as the date of the next court-ordered visit approached, she left for Goa, perhaps not just for a vacation, but with something darker in mind. Psychiatrists began weighing in, with some suggesting she may have been mentally unstable. Her social media painted a different picture, friends and relatives commenting on how much she seemed to adore her child. How does someone go from lovingly posting about their child to this unimaginable end? Back in the cab, the driver had unknowingly become part of a crime scene. The police had asked him to stall just long enough for verification, and he had done everything right. His bravery, his quick thinking, had helped law enforcement prevent Suchana from escaping justice. This story is not just about a crime. It's about the thin line between genius and instability, about how darkness can lurk even behind the most brilliant minds and polished smiles. It's a haunting reminder. Stay alert, stay cautious, and never ignore your instincts. If you ever see something unusual, report it, because sometimes what looks ordinary on the outside hides something truly unimaginable within.